So I've been playing just Vanessa, and I've been going Enchanted Item every game. I think it's the most fun, and I think it's okay. So usually early on, I do want to take something that does damage, and I want to take something, um, that like not a support item generally. Although you do get a Piranha with this. Fortunately, the Piranha isn't buffed. I don't think. I don't think it creates a heavy Piranha. I'm not sure. So this does damage and heals. Puts us in like a decent position. This is a 5-second cooldown, which is I think different than the seaweed, which I think is 7 seconds. So it is a little bit more aggressive. The nice thing with this is it's a friend. We are going to want a friend because it helps us with the pet. I think this is maybe stronger. Has a little more upside. We're not planning on holding these on forever. I think we will check items. If we get a nice laying, that could be good. We get a friend. I think we'll take this also just for the buff. And then, okay, so this is actually a very strong combo early on, and we can afford both of them. We probably don't need both, honestly. I probably could have gotten away with just the shock claws here, but the idea is that this is a very fast attack speed. Buffing it is really valuable. Here we'll win with basically anything. We really want to get a Toxic Fang. That's sort of the dream here. This is a fight you can lose. I don't think it's a fight we're going to lose because we do a decent amount of damage, but you can lose. Basically, the Viper will kill you before the smoke, so if you don't do enough DPS to kill before the smoke comes, you will lose. We get regular Fang. Not amazing here, although I think probably better than the... what is it called? A Zorcid? Zorcid? I think I added a syllable the first time. Sells items. Gives you... this is, I think, gold and something, or bronze chocobas. I think we're better off with... oh, neutral item. I think gold. We're very low on gold. I love fins because it gives a regen. I think getting a regen early on is just really worthwhile. If it goes to 30 seconds, this is like 150 health. We only have 200 health, so that's like 400 health total with 30% of it. No, with like 37% of it coming. But 35% of our health would come from this if the fight goes to 30 seconds. We do have some healing, so like that's not... the math doesn't quite add up. The point is, we also got an extra like 12 healing, or not healing, just HP overall. So, I mean, we won this fight easily, it looks like, so none of that mattered. But in general, I do really like the regen early, so I tend to go fins. It's also free. There's just a lot of ways to spend your money. We only have 5 income. We only have 11 gold total going into day 2. So here's what we were preparing for: is having a friend. Piranha is the only fish type thing that doesn't count as a friend, I think. I guess because it's carnivorous, I guess. Although this doesn't seem like it eats plants, right? This seems like it's sort of it has those big fangs. I don't know. Anyways, we'll do the little furry, and we'll gain some whatever. Check this out. So damage. So this scales the damage scales with the health. So if we were buffing health, we'd get double duty out of it. We don't, but obviously we're looking to put the katana back in, and this is obviously great with the katana. Here we can get, so this gives 3 gold, this gives 4 gold. Medium items. So there are some good medium items here. I don't know if these are... the nice thing with this too is the reroll is pretty cheap. I think we're looking for like... I don't think we're going to take anything here. We would have taken like a Lang Jiang probably, because I think we win the next couple fights, so we could scale it pretty well. I think we can beat this pretty easily. As long as you have a little bit of scaling, you tend to beat this. It does... so this triggers every 8 seconds, which means that I think the smoke comes at 30. So 2 seconds into the smoke, they're often getting a trigger from both... so 3 seconds into the smoke, they get this, right? Because 33 seconds, 32. So you do sort of have like a big swing at 33 seconds. that if you, I mean, we obviously crush them, right? But if there's a slower build, you can sometimes get into trouble there. Nothing really great for us yet. Small weapon, abandoned chest, health, and shield. So we have some money we could spend. Small weapons, not bad, obviously. I kind of like, I've been going for the skill a lot. Medium item might be good, because obviously this skill is doing nothing for us. Although we do have some, if we get a shield item with decent spot. So here, I do have regen. Aquatic items are great, obviously they buff this, but I think taking a free buff on, ooh, I want to say shock, because I think shock claws gives immediate value. Buffing this before we buy things, this is like a scaling play, right? Only so we can either get 2 for the friend or we get 2 for and the loot. Obviously, we take the loot. I don't think we need to use this yet. 3% isn't a ton, and it also isn't. Okay, we don't want to put anything on that side. So this will haste items. I think the best 2 items to haste are probably these 2. It's not likely to be. It's going to trigger like once or twice probably in the fight. So if it doesn't trigger, I mean if it does trigger, we'll get a little value. Double barrel grenade. Okay, this is a very fast build. We might be in trouble here. We have better scaling. We do have having the 400 health is nice here. Do we get killed by the double barrel? Nope, we get there just in time. If if this grenade had gone off, if they had got another volley, we could have been in trouble. Luckily, we get there. Yeah, that's a pretty aggressive build. Probably very good against like low health max. You don't know who you're fighting. I mean, I don't care if they lost. They're not actually here. I think now we could. So you could even buff. I think buffing Insect Wing is probably not like bad. We're probably not keeping Coral forever. But I think we will buff it here. I think it's providing some decent value early on. It does just up the scaling though, so maybe that's a mistake. I'm pretty much always going Mountain Pass. I want the fights. Obviously, we can beat Scrapper. We just beat them. So I'll take this fight again. It is nice to like fight the same person twice, just like you get to see like the progression of your build. I do kind of like that, I think we beat them fairly easily last time, and we do it again. I mean, basically the regen, they only do like 6 damage a second, right? A little less, I guess, plus this, right? This is 2 damage a second. This is like 6. Between the coral and regen, we basically just heal all that off. So this is great, just having the slow. So the slow is great for 2 reasons, right? Not only is it a slow, which just has some intrinsic value, it also triggers any ability that would trigger off yours, like off a slow. So there's some that like when you slow you freeze, when you slow you gain things. So you just get a trigger of a slow, which is pretty valuable. So fighting this person who is eccentric aetherite, obviously rigged is just incredible. Actually force field is probably not bad here, but the way you lose to this is if you like are going poison and you just like this gets to stack on you because the shield will just between the 2 of them will just continuously stack and will do a bunch of damage later on. Yeah, we got a choice that is not a reward, I guess. I guess we don't have a choice. So upgrading this is like these are like 5 damage upgrades. Again, we could go for this. I think we're better off with just a skill. There's some skills that do things. Leftmost item, we can actually just move this over here. And that gives us fairly good. Health and shield items. We could use a shield item. We have some decent buffs for shield item. Actually, I do like sub. Sub would be better if we had, a large item. But this does transition into a single weapon build if we end up wanting to do that. Katana is also a good option for single weapon build. You could even imagine Coral being pretty good, although if you're going for 5-second cooldown is like so you want short cooldowns, right? These are great short cooldowns. We could go friend. We could just look at items. I think friend is fine here. We do get a buff here. We get some gold. I think just seeing like random items in a situation when like we don't really need to add anything to the board yet. Seeing random items is just obviously a little bit random. Black ice. I don't think I've ever seen this one before. So this is Mac, right? Mac has a lot of poison, means our shield is not super high value. I think we might be able to just zerg them down a little bit. Yeah, we have a lot of damage output. Like we have a full board. I guess they have space for a full board. They're just missing something. Um, we were gonna die in 5 seconds, but we do get there pretty quickly. So submersible, I think is pretty good. We do have some. It takes advantage of buffing here. Again, is there anything? There's not really any ammos. Small non-ammos. I am literally, I think, just gonna buff this. This seems like it's. I'd guess this is the wrong play, but I like going. There's a lot of items that are good to buff. This basically just gives us an extra feather, and I feel like if you offered me the choice of a feather there, I wonder if Narwhal is just better than Piranha here. It just has a lower cooldown, and we're buffing stuff. It seems like it's probably marginal, but worth it. We get the second best one, I think. So Flame Juggler here. Do we have any large items now? Is it called Flame Juggler? So the problem with Flame Juggler is he can usually crush you if you don't get out quickly. I don't know if 6 seconds is enough shield. This comes out in 5. I think we're going to try it. Basically, it doesn't matter how much damage you do. It's all about if you survive, because his damage dwindles. It does accelerate when you get to half is the issue. But once you start getting shield, his damage dwindles significantly. So if you can stay alive, like if we can get a second trigger off of this, we'll survive. Yeah, so having the added shield was really good. I didn't know this until like really, really late. Burn does 50% damage against shield. Just straight didn't know that. So that's sort of a interesting thing. If you have 5 or fewer items, so what is the chance that it's best? So the first time we don't have any burn items. We could re-roll it. If you have 5, what is the chance it's best to just remove 2 items here? Like if we just do this. This makes all this stuff pretty strong. Yeah, that's probably for the best. We're going into a fight. This gives us 500 health. We could obviously take the buff. This is a... So, it depends how confident we are, right? This helps us win the fight. This buffing the submersible, I think, has pretty high value. Because it's 5. We could even pay. Make it go to 10. But I think long term, that's not going to be super relevant. If we could just get a... oh, this is actually... Javelin's pretty nice here. Just does so much damage. Does 240 damage over 10 seconds. Like you see this over 10 seconds, 250. Yeah, I guess those are... It's not that exciting. Oh, Cannonade. What if we went Cannonade here? I actually just had a Cannonade game recently. You just know like this. Although that was Obsidian. Because it reduced the cooldown here, right? It makes it easier to play 5 items because we have a large item. It gets buffed by... It's taking the buff from this. That's fine. So it reduces the cooldown of this. It also triggers... We have some very fast attacking weapons. We have all weapons. I'm not even sure if it's not better. I think this is going to be better. You could say putting the Fang in gives us more... I don't think we're going to sell out for the... We don't need to use the feather yet because we don't know if we're sticking with this. But I think this is going to give us a good chance. If we can get 2 cannonade volleys off, it's probably enough damage to kill someone with 700 health. Going against... So the one thing about the shielding... Actually, this is a burn heavy. I was going to say shielding is not usually good against Mac because they usually poison. But this is a pretty burn heavy one, which means our shield is going to be really good. Obviously, the shielding didn't matter even a little bit. So buffing the submersible would have been maybe better. I mean, obviously better. It would have been just free value. But we didn't know that. So I think just taking the win over like a marginal increase. Now, we're looking for weapons. All our things are weapons. I mean, we're not going to find this here. But I think it's a good time. So I love sniper rifle, and I love gold sniper rifle. I'm going to take that. I know that seems strange, but if you sort of imagine, I think we'll buy this for the buff. Is it worth buying it for the buff? No, I don't think so. So, buying the shovel is probably worth it just for gold. So, we'd love to get a buff on something. This only gives like 5 damage. I think because we can't afford any gold items is the issue. We can't even like sell, like we don't really actually have that much gold value to sell out. So I think we just take the poison item intending to sell it. It's a what do you call it, an aquatic item. So we do get a little value. Okay, before we do this, we need to go here, we'll sell. You know what, selling a weapon is like maybe not, there are some things that trigger off selling small items and weapons. I think maybe we didn't want to do that. So these two are going to be, I think, pretty easy. This guy sometimes just like can't even kill you. This guy can do a lot of damage if you don't. So if you get him to half health, he has the I think it's called All Talk. Maybe it does like plus 25 damage to all his weapons. So you get him. But so Scoville is very strong. I think it has 1400 health. We do have some burn, or some shield, which helps against a burn. I think we can take them. How long does it take us to do 1400 damage? I guess is the question. So these trigger every 3 seconds. We've gotten 2 triggers. So in 3 seconds, this will trigger, right? So every 3 seconds, we'll get a thing off of this. That will deal a total of, what, 250, plus we're talking buffs. So let's say after like 12 seconds, we've gotten 4 of these off, which is going to be 200. We've gotten 6 of these off, which is an additional 300. So 12 seconds, I think we kill them. Do we die before 12 seconds up? I don't think so. I think they have the one that triggers at 11 seconds, and I don't think you usually die before this triggers. Also, it got slowed. So I think, so look at when this triggers, right? This will trigger around 12 seconds. And I think if we look at around when that will trigger, that's around when we're killing. So we actually killed a little bit quicker than I thought. Once this triggers, obviously it doubles our burn. Sorry, my mic like randomly died. So yeah, we were able to take that. I mean, just getting the extra 2 XP is really valuable. You know, otherwise you're gambling on what the other people could give you. I think we're gonna take the med kit here. We're not excited about it, and buffing this is like, I think, pretty like marginal value. But we don't really have the money for anything else. I think we can check silver here. There's some good silver stuff. I will take the reroll. Paying 4 for the reroll is rough. One could imagine Captain's Wheel being good if we end up going Sniper Rifle. What I'm really looking for here is like Start Shot or Silencer, because that's pushing me towards a Sniper Rifle build eventually. The nice thing about Sniper Rifle is that the problem with like a Cannonade build, right, is that it makes it more because you want to have a lot of weapons triggering. We're going against a lot of burn today, a lot of burn max, which is nice for our shield. It's a big item, right? So it's a lot. I don't know why I said big. It's a large item, which is, I mean, I know why I said big because there's a similar, but it takes up a lot of room, right? And it needs support, and the support is not utility. You can't reduce its cooldown, so I can buff a silver. So, like, if this was silver, I might even buff that. Obviously, buffing the Cannonade, I think, just adds 100 damage, which is a huge increase to its damage output. So, we'll just try that. I think, in general, that's going to be what's working best here. Now, I like Mysterious Portal. We get another chance to upgrade. So, here, though, we could upgrade this. I actually think putting this to Diamond is, like, incredibly high value. It just doubles its damage output. It's not what we're playing currently, so maybe that's a mistake. But I think just like we got a high roll there. We could have buffed this, like, you know, increasing its damage by about 40%. But obviously doubling something's damage is more than that. And I think there's a decent chance we end up wanting to go Sniper Rifle eventually. I think we can kill Infernal. It's similar to the last fight. But I think you usually have like about 18 seconds in this one, because you have until this attacks the second time. We need to do a little more damage here. We need to do 1900 instead of 1400. I think we can do it. I think we did get an upgrade on this. Yeah, and we crushed them pretty easily in about 10 seconds. So our damage output was this. The fact that we can beat these does mean we seem pretty strong. We get a Cinders. We don't actually have any. I mean, we have this for burn, I guess. We're not close to playing that, though. We just want weapons in. I wonder if, actually, did I sell that novel? So I think, oh no, we want 5 items or less, right? That's another one of our things. Small and large items. Silencer is a small item, as is not shipwreck. Crow's nest. So crow's nest is a large item. The point is we could find both silencer and crow's nest there. Um, if it seems like I'm obsessed with those two, yeah. First time you use an item, haste to aquatic items. These are all aquatic. This is value. We could reroll. We'll take the fight. I almost always want to take fights. I mean, I guess we didn't get the fight, but we'll take the chance of the fight, I guess, is what happened. So we're at 8, they're at 7. I think we have a decent chance. Our build is probably falling off a little bit. Obviously, upgrading the cannonade would have given us a little more strength. So we know we deal 1400 in about 10 seconds, although they have some defense. They don't kill super fast. They have poison, but not a lot of ramp. We have a little bit of ramp. I think we'll probably kill them right before they can sort of come online with the turtle shell. Yeah, they didn't have enough really. They had about 2 seaweeds. This is a very defensive build. That's interesting. I don't usually go something so defensive, just because it leaves you a little vulnerable to stuff that like comes out a little quick. Like as you could imagine, if we had the sniper rifle, like right if we were in a situation where the sniper rifle was online already, we'll sell a couple things. I guess this sells for 4. We want to be able to sell that. Aquatic items. So obviously these are aquatic. Also crow's nest is aquatic. And we can buff this. So we will do that. Yeah, so we have been digging for, I think maybe there's some value in keeping that. Oh, we'll sell this. We don't need a musket. So I don't think we need a roll here. So I don't think we yet have any enough of a reason to switch over. Chili is like mostly annoying because he can freeze all your stuff, but he doesn't do any damage. But basically what he does is he just tries to shield up and out attrition you. I think our damage like just kicks out enough that it's going to be, we get through his shield. And even if we don't kill him, we whittle him down enough that, so he doesn't do anything against our shield either, so we are just stacking this. So basically, like when you go into like the storm, you just want to have more health than the enemy in most circumstances, because your items are going to not really trigger as much because it's going to be so quick. So yeah, you see the storm triggering. We have 2,500 health. He has 500. We should be able to take him out. I mean, he'll get some triggers, but you know, you get a couple triggers off stuff sometimes if the cooldowns are short enough, or if they happen to line up with, the post 30 seconds. I do actually like this. This is a cool item, but you just need a lot of room for it. So these are all items we might eventually play. We don't have any. I keep calling it flame. What's it called? Burn. I mean burn. I think 12 gold is, so it's 10 gold more than the neutral item would be. I think we'll take that. We'll take another fight. Getting close to level 10 is really nice because 10 gives us the enchant. We'll really have to make a decision of, do we want to stick with cannonade or do we want to go sniper rifle? I think I kind of want to go to sniper rifle. Although this is working pretty well. Although obviously we're fighting a minion, so I was getting like a little excited. But we're 6-0 so far. That's obviously good. Best case scenario after 6 days. See what we get. Get a welding torch. Means we'll sell that. So we are at like 60 gold too. We do have some this is like a bug I get sometimes, like where I can't close it. It just goes away eventually. Like it will just eventually close. Yeah, so we have about 60 gold. So we can go digging for stuff. This is an interesting question, right? Because I want to look for silencer, but 900. I only have 2,000 health. This gives me an extra 50% health. I think that's sort of worthwhile. They're level 8, well, level 9. We focused a lot on XP, right? I take pretty much every XP event. I also take every fight I can see for the most part. What are they doing? Library, all weapon cooldowns. Oh wow, so it's very good against our build, right? This just loses 50% of its stuff. It seems like their build isn't super strong, although it's going to start burning us, which is nice to have the shield. Again, this looks like one maybe like where we didn't need the shield. We could have won anyways, but like it just you don't know that this is the person you fight who's going to be pretty weak. And you know what, they do stack a lot of burn. Had they got through it was a lot closer than it looks, I think. It didn't look very close. Okay, so this gives another chance to upgrade our crow's nest, and I think at that point we'd really think of switching. Okay, we also got a chance to upgrade it. Luckily we can afford both of these. So I think eventually, the reason I'm so in on, I think I keep starting to explain this sniper rifle, is that being able to one-shot people, I don't know that this is worth it, because we had a ton of money and we just spent a ton of money. Um, Such as life. Slow effect. Now a slow effect is, so we can slow, okay, so you can either do katana here, right? That's an obvious one, or we can do cannonade. Slow effect is not great on sniper rifle because we want to one-shot people. Um, so I'd say that right now I'm leaning towards slow effect on candidate. I actually don't know I could look it up. I don't know what the different slow effects do. Usually, like the bigger items, they have bigger slow effects, and I'm guessing this trigger slow one for 3 seconds. I'm guessing it would have been better to do it on the katana here. This gives you some vehicle stuff. This, if you can get the crit, if you crit, you get some boost. Bird Bot can give you the flamethrower. Um, the thing is, we do have a sniper rifle, so like the flamethrower is of like reduced value, I think. Although we could just put flamethrower in actually here, and it's strong. So I think yeah, going for this. I feel like you get flamethrower a higher like because is it supposed to be 1 out of whatever 1 out of 6? I feel like I get the flamethrower like way more often. Okay, well I didn't get it this time, so who knows? Not that I think we particularly. What does it say? When you slow haste, this slows one item for 2 seconds. I wonder if there's like a situation where like this instead of this. I think just having two weapons to, I mean, just in addition to this, like just giving haste one item for 2 seconds. If we had another PvE fight, I think I'd like try out maybe replacing these two. Um, when you use an item haste to aquatics, this is aquatic, so at least something would get the value. Yeah, I don't know. That's one of the things with this game is like, oh, actually maybe wanted to go. This slows. There's probably some like weird haste build, like haste, like if you were better at this game than me, you can probably figure out some kind of electric eel cannonade pylon build that is optimal here, because this is slowing, which triggers the haste, which is, because this can trigger a bunch of times. I'm not like ready to give up on this stuff though. I wonder if we just sell this stuff though. We could go that. This is just about triggers. Yeah, what if we sell these two and buy the eels? I mean, the problem is we're space constrained, right? Okay, so start shot actually. Do I have room? Oh my god, am I out of room here? Um, I don't want to like cook so hard that I just throw the game. But basically, I had to sell something to get enough money to buy the start shot in order to go this sniper rifle build that I'm clearly obsessed with. Reduce cooldown adjacent. Because I only have 2,000 health, right? This does 2,000 damage. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get off of this and onto this. My thinking is that this has a 8-second cooldown. We can reduce it by another 0.6. I'm not sure that's better here yet, but if we get a silencer, I think that becomes better. So now, it's possible that I just completely scuffed my build for no reason. Does this give us the upgrade? Or the level up? No, it doesn't. So I think I'm going to go with this. This is unfortunately like a not great insect wing. And I'm not going to use it here. You could either actually, it's probably better on eel than it is on cannonade because the eel gets more triggers. So they have 2,000 health, right? And they don't have any shielding, it doesn't look like. So you look at 2,000 health and you say, my sniper rifle would kill them at, if it crits, right? It's just going to do a kill at like 8 seconds. Wow, am I losing this? Maybe did I manage to scuff the, okay. Okay, so we barely won. Definitely feels like I scuffed this a lot. I wonder how many times this triggered. 7, which gives us 6 off this. So how many seconds long was that? So this triggered twice. So it was between 10 and 14 seconds in 15 seconds, which means we would have got 3 triggers off the other one, off each of the other ones, so we would have only got 6. So this did actually trigger more than the other ones. So Electric Eel upgrades really well because the charge goes from 2 to 3. Okay, are we going to find a silencer here? Not yet. Yes. Okay, so again, this has been working. Burn slow. Skill. Reduce the cooldown. I mean, reduce this is the best one we can get here. We don't need this yet. We are looking for another silencer or a start shot. Don't find either. Do we have something that triggers off slow when you first use an item? Oh no, this gives us slow. I knew I was talking about something, but I was talking about in the reverse direction. So if we put this in, this is 11, goes down to 10. And then if you were to go like, oh, so annoying. Goes down to 8. Does this just work? No, okay, this is interesting. This works in the stash, but this doesn't because it's not our only weapon, even though it's our only weapon in the stash. So what I'm trying to do is basically see like what this build looks like in terms of numbers. Okay, so you really can't do this. You have to move this over. So this is doing 100% crit chance, right? I don't know why is our crit chance so high? Oh, I guess this is 60. Yeah, oh, this is exactly 100. Okay. So it's doing on a 6-second cooldown. It's doing 3600. So, and then we can put a no. If we put a clam in, we lose. Like, how does this happen? Like, I just put in the clam in, which I was trying to put it on over here. Move it all the way around. So the only problem is that because we don't have 5 or fewer items, I can't like sell this to. Okay, so I mean, the way I could check is like this. So goofy. Nope. Oh, because that's a weapon. Okay, never mind. I think the slow. You know what? Maybe not. Okay, I don't know. I think we want to be. There's a certain. I mean, so being too far above the threshold. Like, if this would one shot. Does it one shot this person? I actually don't know. So because we reduced it, it actually will one shot this person, which is really good. This seems really slow. Is 6 seconds that long? Yeah, I guess so. Because we literally do nothing for 6 seconds. We do want to have some support items instead of this, which is why I was sort of flirting with the Clan Pro. Oh my god, what are we selling here? So I think we're off for this build basically, and we're on to other build. I know this seems like an abrupt switch for a thing that was winning, but I think this gives us the best chance going forward, and that's ultimately what we're looking for. This is really nice, reduces the cooldown a little bit more down to 6 seconds, also adds some CDRs. It's not CDR, I mean, it does add CDR, but that's not the also. It adds some crit chance so we can get in something like a Dock Lines, which I want to do. So we're going to be down at 85, so that gives us like a 15% chance to just lose the fight. Is that worse? Okay, so we get absolutely rescued. Okay, this gives exactly 15, which means we don't need this. So we get to exactly 100, just means we can put in the dock lines for free. So here, so I love going XP, right? I wonder if just taking the health isn't better. Because in this, it gives us this in the next fight. We're probably only gaining 1 level tomorrow no matter what. And if we're trying to go for the perfect thing, getting the health is better? Probably? So, we're taking like the short-term thing. Long-term, getting half a level. I guess it could be less. So we will one-shot if we can get. Okay, so this is actually bad for us because this means we have to two-shot, and by then, so we could definitely lose this fight. Because we're gonna get frozen quite a bit, and now we're ticking down, and now we're slowed. Is this gonna get off into this? I don't know. It's gonna be close. Does this get off a second time, or do we get off a second time? We do. Okay. So we got pretty lucky there. The cannonade build might have been better because the problem with the Life Preserver, problem with fighting life against Life Preserver is if you're doing a big one-shot build, this actually just adds a completely second shot. Even if it's like a 200 damage Life Preserver, or 200 HP, or whatever it's called, it would have required a second shot for my thing. We're looking for silencer upgrades, and dock line upgrades. Those are the only two things we care about right now. It's possible we get something that's just better than a dock line. So we're just going to keep looking for silencers. Now, I think you can tell like sort of what color these are before they flip. So if we're only looking, like you only see a silver one. Um, it is possible that you sometimes get a you can get double silencer if you happen to like there's some events that can give you like just gold items and you could see a second like a gold silencer, they won't combine. So you can just like stack silencers. I have had that before, and it just gives you a ton of CDR basically, and that's all that's all we care about with this. I mean, the silencer giving so it's giving 20 damage, which is upgraded to 200, which when you're critting is doing an extra 400 damage. That's obviously significant, but really the CDR is what we're looking for because this being at 6 seconds is still pretty long, um, just because it leaves us so vulnerable to disruption. We get a tiny cutlass. Not going to use that. Upgrade an item. We're going to upgrade our silencer. Could upgrade dock lines. Obviously this, we had 100% crit, we don't need that. This just adds some damage, and of course more importantly we went from 6 seconds to 5 point something. This is only medium items. We actually don't really care about medium items. I wonder if it's better just to buy the health here. I think just buying the health makes us stronger on average than anything else. It's not generally something we like super care about. So, getting gold. Okay, so we're just going to roll down. So, I'm not going to buy this. I was just looking at it. But what I was saying is, Iceberg, if we had a different source of crit, if we're trying to one-shot, Crow's Nest is actually not that great with Sniper Rifle. So we could go... Sorry, my microphone keeps dying. Obsidian Catfish, or Pufferfish, is actually pretty cool. Obviously not for what we're doing, but I do like it in general. This is just gold. This is probably our last shop, right? So taking the gold stuff is not super high value. We are just looking for... Your leftmost slow. I wonder if just getting a huge upgrade on the slow duration is worthwhile. This does trigger before this. It could trigger multiple times. 2 items for 6 seconds. Yeah, I don't know if that will matter at all, but, you know, we were running low on gold. You only have so many more rerolls. If we happen to go deeper, this is nice because we do get the one shot. Like, they have little enough health that we get a one shot here. Yep, and we get an easy 10-0. Obviously the switch to the sniper rifle like might have been overforced. It's possible just going with the cannonade would have been a little bit smoother, but we did get there. We had, I think, one close fight. Most of these fights were kind of blowouts. So yeah, ultimately we got there though, so that's pretty good. I have been liking sniper rifle a lot because I really like Langjian, but the problem with Langjian is you need it early. Sniper rifle helps get around that because you can just upgrade it, get the 10 times damage multiplier. You know, it deals about as much of a Langjian would deal. At this point, it is a 1 second longer cooldown, which is, you know, reduced, so it's probably like Langjian would probably be, 5 seconds flat or something. But the other upside is that it takes buffs a lot better, right? So a Langjian would be getting 20 from this. This gets 200. So, these are adding 400 damage plus another 250, so 650, right? Instead of just adding 65. So we're getting an extra 500 damage from our skills. So I think I'm sort of coming around to Sniper Rifle is just a better version of Langjian. Now the downside of Sniper Rifle is that's only true if you have it upgraded. Langjian, once you get to silver, you can usually sit on it. You really don't need to upgrade it. This just requires a lot of upgrades. You get an upgrade at level 13, which is, I think, what we hit, right? You get an upgrade at like 7, I think, that can upgrade from silver to gold. So you really just need to find like that extra upgrade in the middle and get to level 13. If you're trying to go for like a 10-win perfect victory, you just barely hit 13. So that's tough because, the thing is, if this is gold, this is only doing half as much damage. That's a huge fall off. Whereas a Langjian that's, not diamond isn't that much of a drop off. So, yeah, and I really like this. Also, yeah, you can get off a Crow's Nest if you have something that does silence. It's not aquatic or anything, so it doesn't benefit from... and most things aren't. The only ones that really are, like the submersibles, submarine and submersible, which benefit from aquatic skills, because I guess first time you use an item haste to aquatic items. This is aquatic, so this got some value, but in general we weren't doing that. Yeah, so I don't know if the pivot was optimal. Obviously it worked, but it's possible the candidate would just run away with it too. And then we could have put more investment into the candidate, although I think we ended up getting the diamond candidate anyways, so it didn't matter. I was also spending money and board slots on multiple builds. Like I actually bought the eels. I think did I buy the eels and the crow's nest at the same time? And I was going for a pylon build. I kind of wanted to try that out. I wish there was sort of a way, like a practice tool where I could try out builds to actually see. It's hard to sort of theory craft when are these builds going to trigger, and also how often are things going to trigger against different builds my opponent has. There's a big difference between a Mac with 7 potions and a poppy. I guess. What's the one? Maybe not the library. Whatever the potion lodge item is. So whatever, they have a bunch of stuff on the board basically. Versus a single weapon build where I think in the average game, or the average round, I guess, I'm only having 2 true triggers, right? My dock lines go off, and then, so if you're playing electric eels, your electric eels are, not doing nearly as much against this build as they would against the other build. So it'd be interesting to be able to test that out. Anyways, hope this was a good one to watch. It's pretty straight down the middle, single weapon build eventually, but we took some detours early game. I think that's the interesting thing, is you don't have to, your early game build shouldn't just be a small version of your late game build. It should just be to win that day. You really want to be, I think you can really be short-term focused in this game a lot of the time in a way that isn't necessarily true in other games that seem similar.